Okay, this one, right, is Amath 2023 paper 2. I got it online, okay, so yeah, okay. You can also search for the full solution PDF on Reddit, okay. Right, so for this paper 2 question, right, it's actually very simple, okay. So what is the shocking part? What is the surprising part? There wasn't any area under the graph question, okay, but it has a lot of trigonometric question, okay. So again, that's why 2023 people say there is a trigo paper. Okay, the first question is very simple. It's a binomial theorem question. They say that, okay, the coefficient of x cubed in the expansion of this whole thing is 0. So you know that if I talk about the coefficient being something, okay, you need to use your TR plus 1. Okay, so your TR plus 1 formula is given, okay, but it's good that you just need to know that, oh, it is here being the power, and here being the R, and then the term, and the second term. First term and second term. Okay? So they say that the coefficient of x cubed in the expansion of this is 0. You cannot just consider for one term. You need to consider both of them times together. So why is it so that I do TR plus 1 first for this? Is because I know that this is a expansion with, this is a polynomial expansion. This one I already know that it has just x power of 1. So what I need to do is, I need to see how many possible x cubed are there in this function. Okay, in this function, that's why I need to get TR plus 1. So I get TR plus 1. I know that my power of x is R. Then I will know that actually when I do this, when I go forward and solve, okay, basically what is happening in this part is that I am doing my add-on. Okay, so I consider x here. I consider that this x r, okay, my r has to be equals to 3. Okay, that's my whole concept. That's why you realize that your k is equals to 6 after doing your expansion. Okay, this question, if you don't understand, ask. Okay, it's very important for this question. Okay, this is the hardest I can test you for binomial theorem already. So if you don't understand, please ask. Okay, plane geometry. This is very simple. Okay, when we do plane geometry, we always need to annotate before we even look at the question, and always read here because the hints are always given in the instructions. They say that center C with FD as diameter. So straight away, what is the property that links to diameter? 90 degree in a semicircle. This is the diameter, then I know that here will be 90 degree. This one will be 90 degree. Okay, because of right angle triangle in semicircle. The tangent at the point P on the circle. Tangent on point P of the circle. I see that there's a tangent here. Tangent perpendicular to radius. But if there is any radius for you to connect or not? No. So you can't really use tangent perpendicular to radius over here. Okay? Because radius is like CF, CB, CD, right? But the tangent, which is your AE, it is not connected to the radius. Okay, so they are just telling you here that there is a radius over there because of tangent chord theorem, or you want to call it alternate segment. Okay, so what is so good about alternate segment? You know that this angle, okay, you need to view like this. So you see this angle, right? This tangent is the part where this angle lines on. So you look at the other part that bounds this angle connected to the circumference of the circle, this angle. So this tangent chord theorem part will be equal to this angle. Okay? If you cannot see it, right, then you need to tilt it. Okay? So what about this then? This one will be this angle. So even though they are not the same theta, so this one will be alpha equals to this alpha. Okay? And then you realize that, okay, point E blah 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 blah, intersection of BE and EC. Okay, so you realize, okay, can you see that they ask us to prove that, oh, triangle this is similar to triangle this. Often in A math, you are just doing SS similarity tests because in A math, okay, whatever we learn are all about angle. So yeah, always AA. Triangle ABD, triangle AFB, hope that you remember, okay, you need to talk about the corresponding angle. So if they're given you that this is triangle ABD, triangle AFB, right, you need to understand that angle, let's say ADB will be equals to angle ABF. You need to refer to the order of the name that they give you, the order of the digit. So let's look at the first angle ABF first. You realize that ABF, which is the angle over here, is actually similar to the angle AZB, which is this angle. Because why? Alternate segment. And angle BAZ, sorry, an angle BAZ, which is the angle over here, is actually similar to angle AFB. Because why? Common angle. This is a very simple one, right? Because they are the same angle literally, even though they are in the different triangle. So if you cannot spot it, you look one by one. So you look, first we look at angle ABD and angle AFB. Can we argue anything about it? If cannot, then you look at second angle ADB. So you look at one by one. You have 3 angles to look at. So you look at all the 3 angles. Okay, this is very simple, even though it's 5 marks question. Okay, they say what type of quadrilateral is EBFC? Okay, because they say a circle can be drawn. A circle can be drawn means, of course, you need to look at your circle property. Usually, when you say a circle can be drawn, it's always same line segment from property. Or remember your butterfly, this one. Okay, this angle is similar to this angle. This angle is similar to this angle. Second one is always a quadrilateral property. So if in a circle, there is a quadrilateral, means there is a shape that all the 4 vertices touch the circumference, means this angle theta and alpha is equal to 180 degrees. Okay? So they say that what quadrilateral is EBFC, right? Of course, we need to sketch the circle first. They say a circle can be drawn through B at CX. So BCX with BC being the diameter. So this circle over here. Okay, I draw a circle. Okay, yeah. BCX with BC being the diameter, so I sketch the diameter. Okay, and then they say that, alright, they want us to prove what is the quadrilateral of. It is EBFC. So if you can draw a circle like this, only touches 3 points, you know that this is actually a right angle triangle. Because BC is the diameter, it shows you here that there is a right angle triangle in a semicircle. So you know that BXC is actually 90 degrees already, which is actually over here. Then you also know that FBX is this one over here. FBX, which is this angle, is actually a 90 degree also. Because of what you have proven, just now when we annotate, we already realized it. Okay, so means this and this plus together is 180 degrees. And you realize this angle and this angle, they are in the opposite segment. With that being said, it means that they are actually parallel. Why is that so? Because if this is 90 degrees, this will also be 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees. Using our corresponding segment, the corresponding angle, if they are equal, means the lines are parallel. That's why it shows you here that all these 3 lines are parallel. That's why it's trapezium. How come it is not a parallelogram? Parallelogram, you need to fit in the opposite segment also. But does it show you that, okay, again, if it is parallelogram, this quadrilateral, this plus this must be 180 degrees, but you clearly know it's not. And by common sense, it is trapezium. Very clearly shown to you that it is trapezium, even though you cannot prove the angle, you also can get what is the shape. Okay, this is an exponential question. Is it really real world context question? Yes, but it is a very standard one. Initial temperature when T is equal to 0. Of course, you know that e to the power of something T, something 0, it will be 1. So 86 times 1 is 86 degrees Celsius. Remember, initial means T equals to 0. Find the time taken for the temperature for the T to drop to 37 degrees Celsius. For this part, right, you of course need to equate it to be 37. And then you do your ln. How do you do your ln? Very simple. You ln here. Or you divide first. You actually need to divide first. Because you cannot ln 86e, this one doesn't work. Okay, because this is equal to ln 86 plus ln e of this. So what you need to do is actually you divide the constant first. So you get rid of the coefficient of the exponential function first. That's why I divide first, then I ln both sides. Okay, I ln both sides, I will be able to get the answer already. 3 marks, as easy as this. Okay, they say that some tea is poured into an empty cup at the same time and the same volume. I think I asked you to do MGS paper before, right? So can you see that this question is actually the same question of the MGS paper? Okay, so they say that it's the same time, same volume, and then they say blah 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 blah. Okay, this one is actually irrelevant, okay, but they already give you the formula. And basically what they want you to say is just that after 1 hour means t is equal to 60 minutes, because your t is minutes. Okay, it's not 1 hour. Okay, minutes, so that's why it's 60 minutes for your t is equal to 60, and then they say that 82 degrees Celsius. So for exponential question, you realize the only thing you need to do is you pick up from the paragraph about the value of t, about the value of whatever you need to sub in. You just need to pick up the value and you sub in and you can solve already. Last question is very simple. Let's say that use your answer in this. You find the time when the temperature of the tea is half the temperature of the flask. So the formula is very simple. This all. So you do this already, okay? And then you realize that your TF, okay, is given in this formula. So you already found your lambda over here, right? So you need to sub in this value into your lambda. Okay? Yeah. And then you will get the answer already. Can? Yeah? Okay. So how do you solve this? A lot of students actually will start here. Very simple, right? It's exponential. What is the rule of exponential? Same base, different power. When you times or divide together. So, okay, remember, e of this, t equals to e. Let's say e2t equals to e3t. How do you solve them? e2t divided by e3t is equal to what? e2t minus 3t. Remember, because e is just a constant base. Okay. This was the, can you see? Okay. You look at, just looking at this question, there are 2 trigo questions that cost 10 marks in total. So in whole A math paper, there are lots and lots of trigo. Paper 1, you already have 11 marks of worth of the trigo questions. Here you have another trigo questions. But this is a very different proving question because you need to use solving skills to prove. Use the identity of tangent to A. So what is the identity of tangent to A? This is the identity of tangent to A. Tangent to A is equal to 2 tangent A, 1 minus tangent square A. It's given in your formula sheet. To show that tangent 15 is equal to this. When you see cert in trigo, of course you need to know yourself, you need to use special angle. Before we even look at the solution, we need to understand what the question wants us to do. Use the identity of tangent to A. You need to show that tangent 15 is equal to this. Then what do you think the A will be? The A will be actually, tangent A is actually equal to tangent 15. Okay, so what I did was this. Okay, when I take the O-level exams, okay, but I'm gonna introduce you the easier method first. So straight away, you tell the marker you know that tangent A is equal to tangent 15 by telling me that tangent 30 is equal to this. Then you use your special angle formula to go ahead and show this. But I don't recommend this method because by right, I ask you to show, you shouldn't be substituting the answer here because this should be your endpoint. So I would recommend you doing this. You straight away tell me that tangent 30 is something that you know is sec 3 over 3, which is 3 over sec 3, okay? Sec 3 over 3, then you sub in tangent 30 equals to this because we know that tangent 30 is equal to this, right? Then you let tangent 15 to be x. Okay? You do substitution, you solve for me what is the x, and you realize at the end of the day, x will be this, which is what you want to solve already. But you need to reject one of the answer. How do you reject? You need to use the SATC. That's why I say solving skill is needed here. So you know that tangent 15 degree is a acute angle. You think about this, acute angle SATC, acute angle is over first quadrant. First quadrant, all the trigonometric ratios have to be positive. So 2 minus 3 is the positive one. Okay? And that's why you reject negative 3 minus 2. Okay? Next question is slightly easier than the previous one. You want to prove that this minus this is equals to 4. And how do you do that? Actually, this is very simple. So you already know that tangent 15 is equal to 2 over minus 3. Agree? Okay, you already know that tangent 15 is equal to 2 minus 3. So what you need to do over here, you need to understand relationship that this, how do you derive until here? So it's actually 150 degree is actually equals to tangent 180 degree minus 75 degree, you will get negative tangent 75 degree, which gives you 1 over tangent 15 degree. This is one way that you can approach this question. This is, okay, remember your negative angle property, yeah? Okay, so this, let this to be your basic angle. Of course, 180 minus the basic angle will give you a negative trigonometric ratio. Because why? SATC. SATC, yeah? Your acute angle was here, which is your 75 degree. If you want to move it to a second quadrant, only sign is positive. Tangent will be negative. That's the relationship. So when you go forward and solve it here, this is a very simple third question already. Okay? Okay, this is a differentiation question. I don't think you need help for this. The only thing that you need to take note is you just don't be careless and you can solve that A is equals to the answer here already. Okay, basically you just need to do dy dx. You just need to do d2y dx squared as what the question asks you to do. Then you express it in the form of what they want you to express. Basically, you just need to factorize out all the constant. Yeah. This is very simple. I don't think I need to explain for this. Okay, factor theorem question, show that this is a factor. So we want to show that this is a factor means 2x plus 1, x is actually, 2x plus 1 equals to 0, x is equals to half, right? Negative half. You want to show that when you sub in x equals to negative half, this will become 0. Okay, and that's it. Then you want to factorize it completely. I already tell you that this is a factor. So you do your long division. You do your long division. 6x squared minus 7x squared minus x plus 2, 2x plus 1. Remember your long division, the first thing you need to get rid of the x cubed. So it's actually 3x squared times 2x will give you 6x cubed, right? Then 3x squared, 7x squared minus, you see I put a minus over here. Minus 3x squared will give you negative 10x squared minus x plus 2. So you want to get rid of the negative 10x squared. How do you use your 2x to get you negative 10x squared? Minus 2x. Minus 5x, sorry. So then after that, you just continue to manipulate with it. So negative x minus 5x will be negative x plus 5x, 4x plus 2. So means you plus 2 over here. Okay? Then you get this already, right? After that, what do? You do your normal factorization, no? So how do you factorize over this part? You use your calculator. If you don't know how to press your calculator to help you to factorize this part, please approach me for help. But there's a hint for this question. This is a fully factorizable function. So when you key into your scientific calculator, they will give you the answer. Of course, if you just write the answer, you're going to get 0. But you use a calculator to check your answer at the end. Is it correct or not? Okay? You want to solve this equation. This is very simple. Okay? You just do substitution. Yeah, I need to substitute back. Okay? I think I don't need to go through much for this. Okay? But I want to go through the reject part. Okay? How come I need to reject this answer? Very simple. Remember the rule of exponential function? It can never be negative. 2y can never be lesser than 0. Okay? So, 2y is always larger than 0. Because of the rule of exponential function, ex is always larger than 0. Okay, why? This is the rule of math lah. Because when you sketch your exponential graph, you realize that this is y equals to ex. And you know that y equals to 0 is the asymptote. Means it is always above the x-axis. Okay? Show that the negative solution from part B, which is this one, can be may be written in the form of this. This one came out in 2020 before. Okay? So log 2 over 3, they just want you to express this. Okay, they ask for this lah. Okay? They just want you to express this in the form of what you have over here. So 1 means you want to get something like log AA. Okay? So what they are asking you for is basically just that you need to express it in terms of this. And this is equals to what the answer want you for. Okay, and that's it. Okay, trigger question. Let's say that this is the graph you have and has one maximum point. Okay, so if you know that they talk about maximum point okay, in cosine graph, you know that it's highly likely going to be a inverse cosine graph. How? Because a normal cosine graph looks like this. I have minimum point. Inverse cosine graph, I will have a maximum point. So that's why it gives you the hint that, okay, this A has to be a negative. Okay? And then the next maximum point after these coordinates have this. So we find a value of constant A and B. Now, I give you two, okay, maximum point. The only understanding that you need for this part is one cosine graph has one maximum point. So the distance between the maximum point actually gives you the period. Okay? Can? Alright? Okay, and the maximum point, you get your period already. What is your next step? Now, if you don't understand this, it's okay. Because they say that sin max occur at a half integer multiple of time, okay, A will be negative 10, which is their y-axis over here. Okay, but if you don't understand this, it's no worries. Because you already know that y is equal to A cosine 2x. How do you know that it's 2x? Because for you to get your cycle, which is B, is period is 2 pi over your period. So 2 pi over pi, you will get 2. So that's why you know that B is equal to 2. You know this already, you just sub in your answer law. We choose one of the coordinate. 10 equals to A cosine 2, 7 pi over 2. Your only unknown is A, you can solve for A already. You will get negative 10. Okay? This question, how come there is just one part? This is a very simple question actually, but you need to get the concept very well for kinetics. They say that a particle traveling in a straight line has a velocity of this. At time t seconds, where t is, it's very simple, t is larger or equal to 0. Given by this function, is a sine function. Find the smallest value of c in order that the particle will never change its direction. The first thing, the first understanding you need to have is never change its direction. What does it mean? Instantaneous rest. I got instantaneous rest or not? No. Because instantaneous rest where v is equal to 0 is such that I stop here and after the instantaneous rest, I will change to opposite direction. But they say it never changes direction, so do I stop? I don't stop. Okay, I will constantly go forward. Okay? So the first thing you need to pick up from here is the velocity is always larger than 0. Second thing, or lesser than 0, yes. Okay, because it's never equals to 0. The second thing that you know is it is a sine function. Sine function means you need to factor in the principal value. So sine t is always, remember your graph, The maximum value is 1 and minimum value is -1. So -1, 1. So find sine t will be this. Remember? Okay, and you want to add in the plus c. Then, and then the 0.2, right? So here plus c, find sine 0.2t plus c, find plus c. Can? Okay, and they ask for the smallest value of c such that it will never change its direction. Okay, means your c, using 5 plus c, you will be able to get c equals to 5. Why? Because the smallest value is over here. So -c plus c equals to 0, -5 plus c equals to 0, c will be equals to 5, then you get your answer. Okay, this is not an easy question. Okay, ask me again if you don't understand. Okay, this part is a super easy question. Remember how to find your total distance traveled? You use definite integrals. Okay? Just now I already tell you that it never changes direction. Never changes direction because of this, right? So means what? Don't need to factor in instantaneous rest. So it's just definite integrals. Okay, this one I don't need to go through lah. Okay? If you forget your kinetics, SVA, here differentiation, here integration. Okay? Okay, you see another trigo question. Okay, so this trigo question, right, is a formula question. Do you need me to go through this? I think I'll just go through a bit. Okay, do you see the label over here? Okay, why do I label all these things? Because it's a formula question. I need to do my cursor in every single space where I can find a right angle triangle. There's a right angle triangle over here. There's a right angle triangle over here. There are also a right angle triangle over here. Total up, I have many right angle triangle. Okay, so the only thing that I need to know is they want us to find the area enclosed by the framework. This is very simple, right? This is a trapezium. Trapezium. Okay, so they say sine 2 theta. Sine 2 theta, 2 sine theta, cosine theta. So that means that at the end of the day, I need to show this. Okay, so how do I get r sine theta and r cosine theta? I only denote one. Let's consider this right angle triangle over here. This is theta, right? I know that this is r. So this is the opposite. So let this be BZ. Okay, sine theta will be equals to opposite over hypotenuse, which is BZ over r. So BZ will be equals to r sine theta. That's how you get all the other r cosine theta and 2r cosine theta, etc. So when you find the area enclosed, okay, what they do here is not trapezium lah. What they do here is triangle, because they add in all the area of the triangle. That also works. Okay, how they do it is basically just this one plus this, you will get 6r cosine theta. And then when you get this, right, you realize, it's sine theta cosine theta, it's not 2 sine theta cosine theta. You just do this law. Okay, I never say you cannot factor out the 2, right? Yeah. This is very simple. Okay, in your R formula, just remember that the max area is always the coefficient, right, of your trigo function. Okay, why? Because again, sine theta, this is what you have for sine theta, the principal value. Sine 2 theta is the same, right? Because you are just varying the angle, you are not varying the actual length. For this, that's why if you times a 3 over 2 over here, this one also becomes 3 over 2, this one also becomes 3 over 2. And you realize the max that it can go is 3 over 2. The minimum that it can go is negative 3 over 2. Okay, this is very simple. This is just our formula. Okay, so I don't think I need to go through for this. It's just that they say, okay, this one is just surface area lah, just need to understand, okay? Our formula, how come it's 5 marks? I don't understand why is it 5 marks, okay? By expressing this in the form of this, okay, this one is actually addition formula, but you know your formula well for our formula, then you don't need to do this method. This is only for those who forget their formula for our formula. Okay. Standard R formula question, I don't think I need to go through. Okay. Maybe the part that I need to go through is just that because you know that this is what you can express already, right? So when you look at this, you realize that when you compare this with 4 sine theta minus 3 cosine theta, you know that R cosine alpha will be equal to 4. Why? Because 4 sine theta will be equal to R sine theta cosine alpha. And you divide the sine, cancel the sine theta away, you know that R cosine alpha is equal to 4. Okay? Can I? Okay. This is a... Okay, really. Okay. Paper 2 is very manageable. So this question, the Amath part here that applied is your distance over time. So speed is equals to distance over time. You know this triangle well, you can score full marks for this question. Okay. To summarize the whole situation over here, it's just that from here to here, I require this speed. From here to here, I require this speed. That's it. So using the speed over here and the distance over here, can you get the time or not? Use the formula over here. Okay? So they say that this from x to a is x km, right? So what about b to x? It will just be 15 minus x. But I don't know the distance over here. What do I do? This is actually a right angle triangle. So use your Pythagoras theorem. Then you will get the distance over here. So Cx, how do I get Cx? Basically, just Pythagoras theorem. Like this, you will get 1 mark. Okay. Then you calculate the time taken for x to a by doing this part, which is time equals to distance over speed. So which is x over 5. The time taken from c to x, you already get the distance by Pythagoras theorem. So just distance over s, which is your speed, you will get the answer. Then when you plus them together, you realize you already show what the answer wants, question wants you to show. Speed marks question. This is very simple. When you do this kind of TD, TX, you realize this is so tedious that you don't know how to differentiate. But let me make it easier for you to differentiate. This is just equals to half x plus 1 over 3 times x squared minus 30x plus 289 to the power of half. Can you differentiate already? Yes, this is very simple. dt dx will just be equals to half. Then what about this? It's actually just chain rule. So 1 over 3 times the power, which is 1 over 6. You times the and then times the original function, power minus 1 minus half. Don't forget to times your f prime x of the function that is being bounded by the power, which is 2x minus 30. Okay? So how come the answer looks so different from what I have over here is because they make it to be a simple way such that you can be solved. Okay? So it's just that because this can also be expressed in this form. Don't know how to express it in the form of this? Ask me. This is very important. Okay? Then they because they can take out the factor of 2, then they cancel it on both sides. Then you know that when dt dx equals to 0 is because they ask you to find the maximum value. So at stationary point, dt dx has to be equal to 0. Okay, so they solve for your x, and then when they solve for their x, what they need to do is, okay, I don't know how they make it to be so complex. Hey, it looks like it's very hard, but it's really not. The only thing that you need to do is, you just need to, very good, you times, okay, what they do here is they times square lah, so they get rid of the square root. Okay, then they times both sides, they do cross multiplication, and then we reach until here, you simplify, you make it to be one side, you will get the function. Last question, hence find the minimum time taken. Just now you already get your minimum level, right? So you use this, you solve for y is the x. Then you will get the x. But always remember, the x is not t. X is not t. So you sub in back to your t, you will get the final answer. How come you reject this? Because, remember, Okay. The reason why you reject this is because you think about it. When you sub your x equals to 21 inside, right? Okay, you look at these functions over here. There's something that you can identify. The thing that you can identify is you look at your informations over here. Do you think your x can be 15? Do you think your x can be 21? Cannot. Because x plus bx is equals to 15. So you realize that your x have to be some length that is lesser than 15 lah. So common sense over here. That's why I reject 21. Okay? X already must be lesser than 15 already. You tell me that x is equal to 21. That doesn't make sense. That's all for paper 2. Okay?